Hey guys, so excited to have you on the podcast and on YouTube today. Today I have Diane Rooney with me. You guys have seen her before in the past. Diane is amazing. She was one of my first ever Design Suite members. And today we are going to talk a little bit about her journey, and we're going to talk about where she's at. One of the cool things, that I couldn't do very early in the program is start to talk about results and what Design Suite members were actually doing. And so Diane has now been around a little bit, and we can talk about, what she's really accomplished. So welcome, Diane.
Thank you, Carina. It's good to be here again.
I'm so glad you're on. Now, Diane has had an interesting journey, and I think a lot of you can relate to being a super creative, but then also, having some health struggles, having some hard things happen in your life. But I'm going to let Diane tell you kind of a shortened version of that. You can go back and watch an episode from way back when if you want to listen to some of the things that we've talked about in the past. Diane, do you want to just kind of give like a brief version of like what happened to get you all the way to the point where you signed up for Design Suite?
Okay, so I've had a fairly successful creative business, and I mean, it included a couple of fabric contracts. I was doing some freelance work for some UK craft companies and working primarily in the hobby and craft industry. And then I just got really ill, and it was on and off. I was in and out of hospital. I had no diagnosis, so it was really difficult to sustain my business. And it got harder and harder until eventually I just had to give up. We were running a small business, my husband and I together, so we were fortunate that that could sustain us financially, but my side of the brand, I had to give up. And then I got a diagnosis. I ended up in hospital, had emergency surgery. And during the recovery, I came across your bootcamp, your Design Suite bootcamp. And I signed up almost immediately. Well, I think it was
day one.
I think it was day one. Yeah, I think it was. And it was not long after you launched. I think it was like the very first.
That was the very first time I was really very much, not sure. I knew I could teach people to become designers, but it was like, I don't think back then we talked as much about sales. I mean, I did a little bit, but it was more about like getting it back and figuring out things and getting in shops.
I think it was strategy. You spoke a lot about strategy as well and mindset. And that really spoke to me because I was in a place where I felt like I had the design knowledge. I knew how to execute fairly well. I just no longer had the confidence, and I didn't know where to start once again. And so going through that boot camp, like you said, the very first day I signed up, it meant that I suddenly had direction. Yeah. And I think that was really important to me. I had direction. I had a plan. Then the community, after I joined, I don't know if you remember that there was no community.
Zero. You guys, like that, those first members, I think we had probably 15 members join right from the get-go. Like, you guys were like, we're in it, Carina, we want to see how this goes. And I was doing a ton of coaching, and they pushed me. I mean, that you guys were a group that pushed me, because I just thought I was there to teach you guys strategy and mindset and design and how to make sales. And you guys were all like, no, we want to hang out.
Yeah, and it turned out to be really important. It was an important part of Design Suite program, and it still is. In fact, it's just blossomed now, which is amazing. So very early on, I managed to get a plan and a strategy with you, and attending your mentor meetings was absolutely key for me, getting the critique that I needed, getting that further direction, and then applying for shops. So we talked about lots of, where my designs could go and where my focus was. And it was a little bit, I was floundering for, I would say, several months initially, because I got into so many shops really quickly, which was,
it was an amazing opportunity, right?
Yeah. I'm in Silhouette. So the Silhouette store was fantastic. I got in there, I sent my portfolio, got in straight away. And then it was several other shops that I was in, and then a little few months down, and I started to do really well immediately. I think the silhouette, after a couple of months, I was already on the $300 mark, and that was, and then in autumn, which is always a really good time for sales, that increased. And then I got to the point where I just felt like it was too much. I was overwhelmed with all the places that I was trying to put my designs. And I still had that real desire to carry on with my fabric. So I'd already had previously fabric contracts, and I thought, I need to niche down now. I need to say, this is a journey I need to go back on. And so I made a decision to do custom print on demand. And that's kind of where I headed, and got traction fairly quickly. It is a long-term game.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
There is a strategy.
Yeah, it has to be strategic. Everybody thinks they can go sign up for Spoonflower and they're just going to make money, and it's just really not that. And we have to guide our members through what that process looks like, because now that you've been doing it, really, you dug into it for the last year, you make sales every single week now from it. But so it took a lot of strategy.
It does take a long time, and there is real strategy behind it. And I love that we are able to teach that in Design Suite and help those that want to do that path, because it is a long-term strategy for sure. There's also fabric contracts as well, which actually doing the custom print on demand is a good way to lead into the contract, because the more you design, the more you learn and the better you get. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I've got great traction there, and I'm really excited about how that's going to progress over the next year or two.
Yeah. So the cool thing is that Diane, it only took her, well, I would say like our first year together was kind of figuring things out, right? Like, so I wouldn't say it was like your high months of making money. You were making money. And that is one of the things we never promised in Design Suite. We're like, you might make no money in year one. We see that all the time. And then we see someone in year two make $35,000. Like, it just, like, you can't control kind of the way it works, but we always know you will make money if you simply put in the consistent effort and do what we're telling you to do. We've never seen anyone who hasn't done that, do that, not make money, but sometimes it takes longer than other times. So most of the time people make money like you right away. But like for you, it was, how many months into the program before you started making money that was really a result of Design Suite? Because I know you were designing before a little bit too.
I would say it was 6 to 8 months, because I joined in April, and it was the October and November that I started to really see the sales ramp up. But of course, that's a busy time of year anyway, so sales are there. So that helped. And that's why, following the strategy and the plan, which sometimes isn't always easy, because as creatives, we want to fire off and do all the things, and we can't. If we want to create a business that's sustainable, you have to follow a plan. You have to have the strategy to know what to do and when.
Yeah. So the bigger money came in the fall, which we always talk about. Even in our program, we kind of have high and low seasons that we're all working towards. That's kind of like the awesomeness of being in a community, is watching and knowing kind of the cycles of the season. But you actually started making money right from the get-go, didn't you?
Yeah. Once I was doing, silhouette, I made money immediately. Like the first month, I think was nearly $100, which was just
not that much, but still, it doesn't matter.
But it was immediate.
Anywhere to start that. We've had people in the program where they're in a particular area that we've had to be like, oh, go move to this area, because we can see they know how to make money. They're just in the wrong platform. Right. And so we kind of see that as well. Whereas Silhouette was a great platform at the time. It's still a pretty good platform, but we have other platforms, I think, that do much better now.
It depends what shop you're in. It also depends on your design skills as well, because if you come in and you've never used the software that we recommend, if you're starting from scratch, it is going to take you that year.
Yeah.
That's the time that you're learning and playing and exploring and trying to find out what it is that you really want to niche down on or what you love to make. So it can take longer, but if you have a level of design skill, which fortunately I had, just to say that I'd taken courses from Carina 12 years before. So that's how I knew her. And I immediately, I'm like, that's it, I'm signing up, just simply because I knew you had already, how you taught was just perfect for me. So it does depend where you're at.
Yeah, it does. Okay. So tell me, I would love to know like successes. Like, what are the things that you feel like Design Suite really has done for you? Like, if you could list off so that people understood really, because people will say, I mean, I signed up for it, I have no idea. And it's like, we can't even explain it, almost like you have to come in and experience it.
Yeah, so I think these are the things that you can't explain and you don't know. This is the thing, you don't know when you sign up. So I'd say the first thing is the confidence. I got to a place where I believed that I could do this, that I could actually run a successful small creative business. I've never wanted to do anything more than what I'm doing now in terms of ambition. I want to be a successful designer doing the thing that I love. I never had the confidence to do that after being out of the game, so to speak, for such a long time. So it was confidence. Then I would say it's having the strategy and the plan in place that you don't even realize you need until you start going. And then you realize, right, if I stick to this, if I do exactly basically what I'm being told to do to be successful, it works. And then when that is difficult, so when you have days where I can't do this anymore for whatever reason, lots of things come along. We all have difficult seasons in our lives. And that means that sometimes we just wake up and we can't do this. To be able to be supported by a community, and how Design Suite is working now with coaches, is absolutely a game changer, because you then are speaking to people who have either been through that and have come out the other side or are going through it. So you're not on your own. They're the little things that you can't actually put into words. And the community, just being able to be supportive and to help and to give back, that's important to me, to be able to share what I know. I've always wanted to do that for a long time, to share with other women, especially, this is how you can do it. I did it, so you can do it too. And I think that's been phenomenal for me.
It's so funny because, we started with zero community where I didn't have you guys talk to each other. Now we have, we don't even really discuss this when we have people come to Design Bootcamp, but we have a written community that everybody is writing in and joining. We have these fun challenges we do, and it's phenomenal. Second, we have meetings once a month. Everybody gets to go and see each other in Zoom meetings and hang out.
Yeah.
Third, we have hangouts where like people can design together. Like, so we have like, you can come in to Zoom with your hand. And then fourth, the thing that we added, which has been so incredible, is we have a Marco Polo feed where people get on in video and say what they're working on and show their gardens. And it is, I'm like so attached to everybody who comes into our program, because it has become this feeling of, I don't have to design alone. I don't have to be alone. I can actually get support on not just design, but like my general life. And that's been huge.
Like it has been huge, because there are members that are going through really big things at the moment, and to be able to just come online, whatever meeting it is, in whatever capacity, just to say, I really need help to get through this, has been amazing. And it means they're not giving up on their dreams. They all have big dreams. They all have big goals. And we want to facilitate that for them. And sometimes it is about the mindset and helping someone through a really difficult situation, so they don't give up on the design.
Yeah. So Diane mentioned she loves helping women. She actually became our first coach ever in the program. And it's because we wanted even more touch points with our members. Like I found I couldn't get to every single person. And one of the cool things is we created this design coaching program so that now that we have people who can come in who've already experienced it, who are making money, who can be like, listen, just do this. Carina says, just do this, and give you that kind of amazing support. Do you want to talk about your experience a little bit as a design coach?
First of all, it's a dream come true. I'm not lying. Years ago, I wrote down what my dream business would look like. And at the very bottom there, I drew two little women. They were hugging each other. And I said to be a design coach and mentor. So I didn't know what that would look like, but it's here and it's happening now. It's just the best job I've ever had, to be able to get alongside women and encourage them, to let them know that they can do it. Also, the design aspect. I love teaching and I love learning too. So I'm learning all the time, because we have members that say, you know, this is how I do it. And we always say, especially in the software that we use, there are many ways of doing the same thing. But it's about efficiency for us as well. So working smarter, so be able to help, you know, in group coaching sessions like that is phenomenal. I just absolutely love it. It just to see women who come off the calls and then email me and say, I'm so grateful. You've really made a difference to me today. I now know that I can move on and do this. So yeah. Love it.
And being able to give women that clarity, that one-on-one clarity. There aren't really a lot of in fact, I don't think there's any one-on-one coaching programs out there for designers. I think the closest to it would be going to university, right? And getting it with a professor, but even then you're in a class setting, right? This is the first time, like I've seen, we've kind of taken our coaches, people who actually own design businesses. You cannot be a coach if you don't make money and know exactly our method for making money. And it's so cool to watch you and the other coaches be able to go in and really dig into what members are struggling with and see members turn things around and get to where they want to go.
Yeah, it's been phenomenal. It's a real joy. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's fun for me because I see the members as well. But like, since I can't do all those individuals, to get that kind of touch point is it's so good and so important. Anyway, Diane, thanks so much for being here. Diane, we're going to give a link to Design Bootcamp below. If you want to learn more about the program, if you want to learn, honestly, we get comments all the time that Bootcamp alone, which is only $27, people will say like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much information you give just in Bootcamp. It's insane. We really are trying to educate even at the $27 level. Okay. Like we're trying to do it. But then we also offer a free bonus call, and you can sign up for one of those. You can learn about our program, and maybe you'll get someone like Diane to be coaching with you, and also learning, of course, from me and everybody else in our program, because that's really what it's all about. So we're going to give you the link to that. Diane, I also want people to know where they can find you if they are like, we just want to look at your stuff and see what you're doing.
Okay, so I have a website, dianerooney.co.uk.
Perfect. Okay, we'll put that in the links as well in the show notes. You guys have a phenomenal day. I can't wait to see so many of you either come into a design boot camp or just start really designing and putting your life together and living your dream. Because that's the thing I think Diane and I both really are big advocates of. Just, you should be living your dream now. There's no good reason that you are not. All right. Thanks, guys. Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.